the first thing that I kind of wanted to go over was just the kind of the mortgage landscape, kind of a review on where rates were, where we've been, and where they're going. Because I feel like that's super important. And I guess maybe, Blair, to your point, that probably will be one of the first topics, because as we went from 2019 to 2020 into COVID and into all the rates dropping, the conversations with buyers has really changed, right? So, we went from one market where, three or 4 or 5 years ago, I remember the conversation was really based about renting versus buying, the benefits of renting versus buying. And then we move into COVID, rates drop to, 2%. Everybody is wanting to refinance, and now, and everybody's also wanting to purchase. So we've got a huge problem with appraisals, right? Appraisals are taking forever, and appraisals are just charging whatever they want. It's a buying frenzy. So, you're pre-approving buyers, and like values are just shooting up as you go. So you're having to like coach them on the market and where we're at. You're having to encourage them, because many people, they didn't want to buy because it's so competitive, right? But moving through that, if they would have bought, it would have been a really good deal, right? So you're trying to help them and keep them in the game, right? And so now we're moving past that, and now we're going into high interest rates, and then that's another conversation too, right? Because a high interest rate, right? It's relative to the last year. So really, what I have found myself doing is kind of taking clients through that journey real quick, right? Like in like 30 seconds or so, just talking about kind of here's where we're at, here's where we were, here's the unrealisticness of where we were, and why we're probably not going to go back there again, and then to kind of talk about the future as well. So that's what I've been doing with a lot of players, kind of right off the rip. It's not really anymore just like, cookie cutter. Okay, here's what you qualify for. Let's go do it. It's like, let's talk about your scenario. Let's talk about what you got going on. And then put together a quick little plan for them, if you will, right? Like make them feel super confident in what they're doing. They've got a deep understanding of the market. At least for me personally, that's what I've been doing. And I've kind of been honing in this little like client journey I've been taking everybody on over the past couple years, and I have found that that's really helped my business. So walking them through where we were to where we're going, and then where we're going, right, is we've got rates right now that are probably like mid sixes. They've just been hanging around there for the last part of the year, and from what they say, from what the experts say, we should be going into lower rates in 2024, right? Maybe optimistically by the end of this year, but probably into 2024, rates should come out of the sixes and into the fives. And I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see rates go into like the high fours, because that's kind of where they were before COVID hit. Conventional rates were high fours and government rates were low fours, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see that's where rates kind of fall. And so that's what I kind of tell buyers, but I also tell them, because everyone's worried about the rate, right? Everyone's really, really worried about the rate. And so if you walk them through that journey, you explain how rates work, that you can refinance it. I have found that it really puts folks at ease about the rate, and it makes them more confident when they're getting a rate, that they know that there's a game plan behind that. They're not just stuck with a high rate. There's a reason behind that. And on top of that, my personal opinion, and y'all might have way different opinions because you're real estate agents and I only do financing, but I think that, as far as values go, we're going to see values continue to rise, right? Like right now, everyone's like, man, values are dropping, but it's like, yeah, comparatively to what they were. Like you went from a $200,000 house to like a $350,000 house, like overnight, like in 1 year. That's just not realistic, So now, when you take that $200,000 house and you put it out there for $350,000, that's going to normalize down around $300,000. My opinion is still pretty high, but I think that we've seen that market shift in Florida, right? I think that a market shift has happened here that may rebound in other parts of the country, but Florida's Ann's the first one to tell you. Ann wants to be in Florida, after that cold weather up there. So that's my take on the mortgage market, on the rates, on where we're going right now. Mid sixes for conventional, high fives for government, and then, like I said, probably in a year we'll probably see them, come down a good portion. There's going to be another refi boom. a lot of people are going to want to refinance.